Good evening. Please stand for the pledge and remain standing for the anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2023 Cum Laude Induction Ceremony. I'd like to extend a warm welcome and huge congratulations to our 18 exceptional inductees who are here with us tonight. Before we commence, I want to take a moment to recognize our board president, Mia DiPietro, who's here with us this evening. I want to thank Dr. Lamia, Dr. Koltenecker, and Ms. Cunningham, our district administrators, who are also joining us this evening. And it's essential to acknowledge that everyone in the audience has played a significant role in nurturing and supporting our inductees throughout their journey at Byram Hills High School. And I'm sure all of our parents tonight are even thinking back to that time when they were in preschool and they were just starting out. To the parents, you provided them unwavering support and encouragement at every step of the way. Siblings who are here, you helped them stay grounded. To the friends who join us tonight, you stuck with them through thick and thin. And to the proud aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents, you helped them to gain their identity and feel comfortable with being academically minded. I want to express my heartfelt thanks and deep appreciation for all you've done to bolster our inductees on their paths to this night. I love this ceremony and what it signifies for our school. Firstly, it provides us with an opportunity to spotlight and celebrate these students whose GPAs rank within the top 10% of their class. Secondly, it allows us to honor the esteemed faculty members who are being inducted into cum laude and to draw inspiration from their words of wisdom. Now, lastly, this event holds a special place in my heart because it affords us and our inductees the chance to invite educators who have left a positive imprint on their learning journey here at Byram Hills. This tradition of inviting past teachers to partake in the celebration is a testament to the deep gratitude our inductees hold for our faculty members. I've seen a lot of them out there, and I hope I don't miss anybody, but at this time, I'd like to request Matt Allen, Caroline Matthew, Jen Layden, Stephanie Greenwald, Joanna Lewick, Chris Lewick, Rebecca Barnum, Steve Borneman, and Mr. Dennis Covert to stand, allowing us to express our gratitude for the profound impact you had on our inductees. The lasting influence of these teachers goes beyond the subject matter that they teach. It's about how they made our students feel. Our inductees may forget what was said or even what was taught in the classroom, but they'll never forget they were inspired and encouraged and how these teachers made them feel. So thank you once again for joining us this evening to celebrate the remarkable achievements of these 18 students. Now, the criteria for cum laude selection is pretty straightforward. We calculate the weighted GPAs of the entire class and invite those who have reached that top 10% to be inducted. This year, we have 18 inductees. We have 174, so we're going just a little bit above. And these inductees reflect the talent and dedication of all of our students. So the class of 2023, they hold a special place in my heart because I'm sure they remember they started under some very unusual circumstances as a ninth grader. Transitioning to high school is tough enough, but they also had to do it and contend with one-way hallways, staggered passing times. You remember how much time you got? 10 minutes. They were able to get 10 minutes. The seniors were really upset that they didn't get the 10 minutes. They had to have a hybrid schedule, white, red, Hills, Navy, and black days, lunch barriers, contact tracing, small group tutorials, quarantines, and independent e-learning. For many of our students, it wasn't actually until the end of the third quarter of their sophomore year that I actually saw their face. Nobody could have planned for what they had to deal with, but yet somehow they were still able to excel academically, which is incredible. And though we are still in the first quarter of this school year, this event really does mark the beginning of the end of their high school journey. In the blink of an eye, they'll be wearing their graduation caps and gowns and receiving their diplomas. So we're using percentages tonight. That still means that you have just about 20% of your high school years left ahead of you. And this ceremony serves as a reminder that the end is approaching. And I implore our inductees, embrace the remaining time that you have left as high schoolers to create lasting memories, enjoy friendships, and focus on your own well-being. You've proven your dedication to academics. Now, ensure that you live in the present before you move on to the next phase of your academic journey. So, as we continue, I'd like to express my gratitude to Dr. Apt, who is the heart and soul of our cum laude society. The amount of work that she puts into it year in and year out is really incredible. And this society links us back to the very first of those cum laude inductees. And for us, it really represents a continuous chain of high academic performance. And Dr. Apt is the custodian of that, and I want to thank her. Now, Mr. Hubbs is the go-to person for all things that Dr. Apt actually needs to get done. And we want to really thank him for all he does behind the scenes to create this ceremony and to make it as special as it is. I also wanted to once again thank Mr. Coates, our jazz choir, and Valentina for all that they did to prepare for this evening. And again, I want to thank Ms. Albert, Ms. Spirelli, Mr. Beha, Mr. Melso, and our custodial staff for making this evening possible and for getting us ready. It's now my privilege to introduce my esteemed colleague and friend, Ms. Catherine Eshu, who will be delivering our cum laude address tonight. I'm delighted to see her recognized this evening for her unwavering dedication and professionalism by the faculty members of the Cum Laude Society. Without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Eshu to the podium.
Thanks to Sandy and David for your hard work in putting this together. Thanks also to Jen Lamia, Tim Kaltenecker, Gina Cunningham, the Board of Ed, and the Cum Laude Society, as well as Chris Walsh, Lauren Albert, Dwayne Smith, for supporting me and encouraging me all these years. I'd also like to thank my husband, Tom, and son, Will, for being here tonight. My daughter, Elizabeth, is at thank you. All right. She's at sports practice tonight. We know how all-encompassing those extracurriculars can be. It's amazing that all of you were able to carve out tonight to actually be here. I feel honored to be speaking tonight, addressing the seniors and all of you. Apparently, the students on this stage are members of Generation Z. Apart from it being a lame title for a generation, like what does that even mean? It's also premature. For some reason, society and the media felt the need to define this generation years ago. Perhaps it's because you're the first to have been fully raised in the digital age. Perhaps it's because we just like to label people and put them in boxes. But why did people feel the need to label you before you even got your braces off? The term the greatest generation refers to those who came of age during World War I and the Great Depression and fought in World War II. But the term greatest generation wasn't even coined until its members were senior citizens, when Tom Brokaw wrote a book of the same name in 1998. The baby boomers, born in the years following World War II, had started careers and families before their name really stuck. And my generation was at least in college and beyond when author Douglas Copeland named us with his book Generation X in the early 1990s. I think the media doesn't understand you and wants to create a narrative about you in order to try. Unfortunately, a lot of these narratives paint a negative portrayal of today's young adults and actually are myths. So please indulge me while I attempt to dispel a couple of these pervasive myths that we hear about Generation Z. The first myth, Generation Z is self-absorbed. Well, I took a lunchtime poll of my English department colleagues and they begged to differ. Because from what I have learned, Alex made a full-length documentary about the housing crisis in Westchester to raise awareness of the issue. When Zach is given an opportunity to write about himself, he actually tells anecdotes about how funny and athletic his brother is. Lily goes out of her way to say hello to her old teachers, and that means a lot to us, by the way. That's huge. And I don't know how to describe Jack Quinn's values in a way that makes sense, but he has a moral compass that's apparent in his interactions with his peers as well as his teachers. These students care about others and the world around them. They are no more self-absorbed than any other teenagers who came before them. Myth number 2, Generation Z doesn't want to work. Again, my lunchtime poll proves the opposite. I was told Jake Fenster, for example, has such mastery of the material that he could actually teach his classes. Grace has been perfecting dance, a huge time commitment, as well as her academics for years. I was told Ben never gives up and will accomplish anything with a work ethic like that, direct quote. Daniel has completed a punishing amount of lab hours for science research while also pushing himself as a creative writer. I personally have witnessed Jack Cantor going above and beyond, whether it's writing for the Oracle or delving into Vietnam protest music. And Aiden chose to take the English Regents on a hot August day during summer break because when the rest of his grade took them in mid-June, he was attending a debate tournament. So never mind not wanting to work, I don't know how these kids find time to sleep. And that brings us to our last myth. The myth which claims that smartphones and social media have turned this generation into robots. I disagree. Because according to her teachers, Samara played a fabulous Juliet and could teach a Shakespeare play any day of the week. Jonathan's inquisitive nature, engagement in class, and manners are inspiring to teachers. Maggie gives valuable creative writing feedback to her peers, but more importantly, always laughs at bad teacher jokes. Joe channeled his passion for sports into a really cool and intensive science research topic. Jake Santos volunteered to apprentice in Dennis Covert's Period 1 physics class, not because it would go on his transcript or raise his GPA, it doesn't, but purely because he loves physics. Aaron's skits and theatrical projects have been entertaining his classroom audiences for years. Erica's 11th grade songbook analysis used a Dora Jar song, which says a lot about Erica's individuality and sense of self. And lastly, Ayaka has made an impression for putting her all into her writing and her art, and according to Miss Shaw, is cooler than Miss Shaw will ever be. She said it was okay that I say that. These students don't sound like robots to me. They're individuals who actively pursue their passions. Just because they have the internet as an instrument with which to do so shouldn't be held against them. It seems that none of the negative stereotypes about Generation Z ring true for this group of students. I can also add from personal experience that they are one of the nicest collection of humans with whom I could share a stage. Earlier in the week, I accompanied the majority of these students to the opera, I have to tell you, they were a class act, from their business casual attire to their audience etiquette. The other chaperones and I were all so impressed, and you would have been so proud. So let's allow them to create their own narratives as they enter adulthood. Let's allow their brilliance, hard work, and kindness write the story of who they really are as they embark upon their journeys and form their generation's legacy. I can't wait to see what they accomplish. Thank you.
You'll remember me well as meadows upon the fields of barley. You'll forget the sun in its jealous sky as we walk in fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze upon the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold.
Will you stay with me? Will you be my love? Among the fields of barley, oh, we'll forget the sun in his jealous sky as we lie in fields of gold. See the west wind move like a lover's soul among the fields of barley. Feel her body rise when you kiss her mouth among the fields of gold.
I never made promises lightly, and there have been some that I've broken. But I swear in the days still left, we'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold. Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down among the fields of gold. You'll remember me when the west wind blows upon the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold.
I would like to recognize the distinguished faculty and administrative members of the Cum Laude Society, Mr. Matt Allen, Mr. Thomas Andriello, Mr. Stephen Borneman, Mr. David Bruskowitz, Ms. Kristen Budden, Ms. Catherine Eshu, Mr. David Hubbs, Dr. Tim Kaltenecker, Ms. Jane Carlin, Dr. Jennifer Layden, Dr. Jen Lamia, Mr. Christopher Lewick, Ms. Joanna Lewick, Mr. John Norton, Mrs. Barbara O'Connell, Miss Joy Reynolds, Miss Megan Salomone, Miss Jessica Shaw, Mr. Dwayne Smith, Miss Lisa Squadrone, Miss Melissa Stahl, Mr. Christopher Walsh, Mr. Michael Young. Okay. Would the students to be inducted please rise? The distinguished record you have made at Byram Hills High School has won for you membership in the Cum Laude Society. This society is a fellowship of scholars whose purpose is to recognize excellence in academic work. As you pursue your education, it is our hope that you will accept the honor of membership in this society as a responsibility to the ongoing search for greater understanding, knowledge, and peace on this earth. Okay. Aiden Aldea Lustig. Okay. Ayaka Amin. Lily Anshin. Samara Brown. Jack Cantor. Jacob Fenster. Erica Cartoonin. Aaron Letts. Benjamin Levy. Grace Lynn. Jonathan Manowitz. Daniel Dotsai. Joseph Pulaco. Zachary Perro. Margaret Pollock. John Quinn. Jake Santos. Alexander Woodworth. Take a seat for a while. As the chapter president of the Byram Hills Cum Laude Society, I would like to congratulate the inductees and their families. At this time, it is a joy to share this wonderful occasion. I am required by the Cum Laude Society to present its history. The Cum Laude Society was started by Dr. Abram Harris, head of a private boys' school in Maryland in 1906. It was modeled on Phi Beta Kappa as the high school equivalent. to recognize the scholastic achievement of seniors. Charters were only granted to schools of superior academic quality. Girls were admitted in the 1920s, and today there are over 350 chapters. Students who are selected must still demonstrate the original qualities of excellent scholarship, intellectual curiosity, stamina, a willingness to take a heavy workload, a desire to learn and to excel, and a consistency of performance. It should also be noted that our students have excelled in other areas as well, in school clubs and activities, community service, athletics, volunteer work, and leadership positions. You are to be commended. As one walks down the halls of the high school, you may hear many inappropriate words, which I will not repeat here. But here are two words that one rarely hears in our halls and classrooms: quitter and failure. We are all programmed for success. Being a quitter and/or a failure isn't part of our Byram Hills culture. They imply dead ends. Your parents and teachers do not encourage you to quit or fail. However, there can be advantages to quitting and failing. According to an article in the New York Times, quitting is hot right now. During the recent Great Resignation, approximately 40 million Americans reportedly left their jobs for better ones. Many other people also choose to do less work or work from home. The book, Quit: The Power of Knowing When to Walk Away, by professional poker player and decision scientist Annie Duke, offers the argument that in many cases, trying to achieve our goals, whether they be career or personal aspirations, actually holds us back or puts us in negative situations. For example, Rob Hall, one of the main protagonists in the book Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer, was warned not to continue his ascent of Mount Everest. He decided to persevere and continued up Everest when he should not have. He died. It's a no-brainer that quitting is the right choice when it is dangerous and life-threatening to persevere. We can learn from quitting and its frequent result, failure. Doris Kearns Goodwin, the historian, described how many famous people dealt with failure and loss. They would turn it into a positive learning experience. In August, on the news show Morning Joe, she described various failures of people that led to something positive. Al Gore, who ran for president in 2000 in a close race with George Bush, lost the state of Florida by 537 votes. If he had won Florida, he would have won the presidency. He graciously accepted defeat. For the last two decades, he has been a positive voice for the environment, making us aware of man-made climate change. He wrote the book, An Inconvenient Truth, in 2006, and in 2007, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. George H.W. Bush left a personal note of encouragement in his White House desk for his successor, Bill Clinton, wishing him success in his presidency. Hillary Clinton, after losing the 2016 presidential election, publicly wished Donald Trump well. Next week, on October 24th, 7 Tools for Life by Arnold Schwarzenegger will be available in bookstores. He offers 6 rules for success. Rule number 3 tells us not to be afraid to fail. We learn from our mistakes. He adds that it is okay to break some rules and to not be afraid of the naysayers. Goals are often fixed objects that do not take into account new information that we might have learned along the way. Every goal needs a good unless. We must remember what the goal really is. The goal isn't to get to Everest's peak. The goal is to get back down to the bottom alive so that you can climb more mountains in the future. You have gotten an excellent foundation here at Byram Hills. Cherish your remaining days here. Appreciate the knowledge and skills that you are learning. Appreciate your teachers and friends. Strive to make a difference and do good. Don't be complacent. Use the unexpected in your life and the occasional failure to make good choices. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Use one of Silicon Valley's favorite excuses for making mistakes, an old Thomas Edison trope. You didn't fail, but found 10,000 ways that it didn't work. In the tech world, fail and it didn't work are the same thing, but we should see them as a badge of honor rather than a sign of failure. First, you need an attitude. Try new things and don't judge in advance. Second, stay on track and get a good education. Learning for its own sake should become part of your educational repertoire. Lastly, train your mind to think, regardless of what it is thinking about. You will discover that your education, knowledge, and critical mind will liberate you. Your future lies before you. Make the most of it. I remember seeing an old sundial when I was a child. It was decorated with the words of the poet Robert Browning. How prophetic they have become. Please grow old with me. The best is yet to be. Thank you. Each year, we are pleased to invite into membership a faculty member who has demonstrated scholarship and dedication to scholarly ideals. This year, 2 members of the faculty will be inducted into cum laude. She grew up in Mahopac and currently lives in Beekman in Dutchess County. She received a Bachelor of Science degree from the State University of Albany, majoring in biology and double minoring in chemistry and sociology. While she was at Albany, she volunteered at the local alternative high school to help students pass the science competency exam required for graduation. She realized then that she enjoyed working with high school students. She also completed a master's degree in education from Pace University. She also has a second master's degree in instructional technology from the New York Institute for Technology. In January of 2001, she filled a 7th grade leave replacement at Crittenden Middle School. Also at the time, Byram Hills High School was experiencing a growth in student population. She was hired for a biology position, and she has been at the high school ever since. She teaches biology to students of various ability levels. She loves to work alongside her students, engaging in experiments, problem solving together, and enjoying the world of science with each other. She believes that science should be accessible and relevant to all students. She is hardworking and focused. She loves teaching and being with her students. She has the gift to connect with all levels of students and to energize their love of science, developing a sense of wonder and curiosity. She considers each of her classes to be her family for that class period. She and her husband, Stillwell, have 3 children, Dylan, 15, Eliana, 12, and Cassidy, 10. On behalf of the Cum Laude Society, I am honored to offer membership to Heather Manriquez. other inductee grew up in Jericho, Long Island. She graduated from Notre Dame with a degree in computer science and engineering. She has master's degrees from Pace University and Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. After college, she worked as a computer security consultant, which she described as a legalized hacker, for 5 years at PricewaterhouseCoopers. There she was in the firm's learning and education department, holding workshops on web application hacking. At the same time, she volunteered at several New York City schools as a business professional teaching work skills. She regularly rode the New York subway, and she noticed signs for the New York City Teaching Fellows Program. She decided then teaching was the right path for her. She started teaching while taking classes at night for her master's degree. Besides math, she taught international finance, a class in entrepreneurship. She also started a program for freshmen to take physics. She also found time to get married and moved to Fairfield County, Connecticut. She then taught at Blind Brook High School. She also started working on an administrative degree. 3 years later, in 2011, she came to Byram Hills as the grades 6 to 12 mathematics chairperson. She brought the AP Computer Science Principles class to the high school. It generated greater interest in the STEM fields from underrepresented student groups. Last year, she implemented year 1 of the new startup program. The program is now in its 2nd year. Students develop their own product or service in order to gain investment funds. Real entrepreneurs and business experts serve as volunteer coaches and mentors. Students build real businesses. They make mistakes and take risks as they launch their real businesses. She lives in New Canaan, Connecticut, with her husband, sons, and 3 dogs. She loves to cook, golf, play paddle and chess, and quilt. She is hardworking and focused. She exhibits regular joy in seeing her students learn. On behalf of the Cum Laude Society, I am honored to offer membership to Lisa Pellegrino.
Thank you once again, Dr. App. Thank you. All of you, thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the remarkable achievements of these 18 students. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I once again want to thank Ms. Catherine Eshu, who delivered our address this evening. Thank you, Catherine. Congratulations to my colleagues, Ms. Heather Manriguez and Ms. Lisa Pellegrino. At this time, we'd like to invite you to join us for a reception in the cafeteria as a way of extending our thanks and a way to congratulate all of our inductees. Once again, thank you very much. Congratulations, and go Bobcats.